example number 2 of being markled, which is where there's a massive rift, split, dropping of the friendships that were between Meghan Markle and a celebrity. Let's just put it that way.
Did Serena Williams just diss Meghan and Harry right to their faces?
Happy that your girlfriends moved to America?
Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know nothing about that.
Hold up. Before you scroll past this, you need to understand what just happened, because this tea is scalding, and it's about to change everything you thought you knew about Hollywood friendships. Meghan Markle just got the most humiliating rejection of her entire post-royal life, and it came from someone she thought would never ever turn their back on her. We're talking about Serena Williams, the same woman who defended Meghan through every scandal, every controversy, every media storm. The woman who flew across the world for that royal wedding, who spoke up when nobody else would. And now, Serena planned an exclusive girls' trip to Lake Como, invited her carefully chosen circle of elite women, and Meghan Markle's name was nowhere on that list. Not forgotten, not overlooked, deliberately excluded. But wait, it gets so much worse. When Meghan found out about this trip, she didn't just sit quietly. She started making calls, sending voice notes, practically begging for an invitation. And the response she got back? Silence. Cold, calculated silence. Or worse, polite brush-offs that basically said, "We're keeping this drama free," which in Hollywood speak means, "You're the drama we're avoiding." Here's what's really wild, though. There's another woman on that guest list who's everything Meghan's tried to be but could never pull off. Emma Thinn, the Marchioness of Bath, just casually living the life Meghan fought tooth and nail for, except she's doing it with actual grace instead of constant headlines. The contrast is so stark, so obvious that even the elite social circle can't ignore it anymore. One woman plays the game perfectly, the other one has become the cautionary tale everyone whispers about. And when I tell you what really went down behind the scenes of this social assassination, you're going to understand why it isn't just about a vacation. It's about the complete collapse of Meghan's carefully constructed empire. Meghan and Serena, for a while, truly looked unstoppable. They first met at the 2010 Super Bowl charity event, and from that point on, it seemed like they were always seen supporting each other. Serena was front row at Meghan's royal wedding, cheering on her friend. Meghan was courtside at Serena's matches, showing up with genuine pride. But this friendship didn't just quietly fade, it unraveled piece by piece, and plenty of insiders saw it coming. They say as Meghan's fame grew, so did the sense that every hangout, every conversation somehow circled back to her story or her struggles. Group chats got awkward. Invitations stopped appearing. The fun became complicated. Serena, always the calm in the storm, made it clear what she wanted: peace, loyalty, and no more drama.
Never seen her, never heard of her, don't know her.
People close to their world started admitting that Meghan's constant headlines and her need to spotlight herself wore everyone out. One put it simply: she just made every room tense. While Serena moved forward, focused on family and true connection, Meghan got stuck in her own spotlight, unable to find a graceful exit. What once looked like an unbreakable alliance simply came apart. Their bond was undone not by scandal, but by exhaustion and a fundamental shift in values. The message seemed clear: not every friendship survives the pressures of a changing public image. Now let's turn to Emma Thinn, who has quietly redefined the social scene. Her story is about subtlety and strength. Her father is a self-made Nigerian billionaire, her mother an English socialite, and Emma grew up learning how to handle powerful rooms without demanding attention.
My name is Emma Thinn. I'm Tish Weinstock, and I'm a proud member of the cross community. I'm a mum of 2 boys called John.
She became Britain's first black marchioness, with quiet confidence, never needing spectacle. Instead of chasing spotlights, Emma built her own brand supporting charities and earned real respect from the old guard. She danced with grace on Strictly Come Dancing, collaborated with top designers, and her food brand became a genuine success, all without the hint of a scandal. What separates Emma is her refinement. People say she lifts everyone up around her and never brings chaos to the table, which is exactly why she was front and center at Lake Como. She fit in, stayed composed, and let her actions speak for themselves. Emma's path is everything Meghan hoped to create: breaking barriers, earning a seat at the table, and changing perceptions. The difference is Emma did it by adapting, building bridges quietly, and letting her authenticity shine. Meghan tried to force the doors open, but Emma simply walked through them, welcoming every step of the way. That's why the contrast is impossible to ignore. In their world, authentic class and consistency outshines controversy and constant reinvention. It's this simple truth that now leaves Meghan outside looking in. Let's talk about what really went down at Lake Como, because when you understand the specifics and the timing, you realize just how brutal this snub truly was for Meghan's reputation. This wasn't some casual weekend getaway thrown together at the last minute. This was a meticulously planned, ultra-exclusive retreat held at one of the most coveted estates in all of Italy. And it happened to fall right around August 4th, Meghan's 44th birthday.
Carrying on with her birthday celebrations, likely at her home in Montecito with Prince Harry and their children, and of course preparing for yet another product launch for her business as ever. Meghan has seen rave success with her brand launches thus far, all of which have sold out in a matter of days. Yes, that's right. The exorbitantly expensive pots of jam, gone. The special honeycomb jars with their honeycomb inside them, gone. And unsurprisingly, the wine also gone.
The location was nothing short of spectacular. Villa d'Este, the legendary five-star palace hotel in Cernobbio that has hosted royalty, celebrities, and billionaires for over a century. We're talking about floating pools, private boat access, and panoramic terraces overlooking crystal blue waters. The kind of place where George and Amal Clooney keep their own villa just down the shoreline, where Chanel hosts their cruise shows, and where discretion isn't just expected, it's guaranteed. The guest list read like a who's who of sophisticated power players. Emma Thinn, naturally, was the crown jewel of the group. Fashion executives from major European houses, a former UN Goodwill ambassador whose name alone opens doors across 3 continents, philanthropists who quietly move millions without ever seeking credit, and business leaders who've built empires while maintaining their dignity. These weren't attention-seeking influencers or reality TV personalities. These were women who understood that true power whispers, never shouts. But here's where it gets absolutely devastating. As these elite women were posting subtle glimpses in their Italian paradise on social media, Meghan was back in Montecito celebrating her 44th birthday with just her immediate family. The contrast couldn't have been starker. While Emma Thinn was sipping champagne on Lake Como terraces, Meghan was blowing out candles at Funk Restaurant in Beverly Hills, thanking her husband and her friends and family for making her day special. But who were these friends? Conspicuously absent from her birthday celebration were the celebrity names that once filled her inner circle.
It's her 44th birthday. Happy birthday to you and all that. On Instagram, there's not really anybody posting happy birthday to Meghan on Instagram. But
the most crushing detail, not a single person from that Lake Como trip acknowledged Meghan's birthday. No Instagram stories, no public messages, no private texts that got leaked. The silence was deafening and deliberate. These were women who used to be in group chats with her, who used to celebrate milestones together, who used to show up for each other's big moments. But on August 4th, 2025, their silence spoke volumes. When she first caught wind of this gathering, she didn't just passively hope for an invitation. She actively campaigned for one. Sources close to the situation reveal that Meghan reached out to multiple attendees, not just Serena. She sent carefully crafted text messages expressing her desire to join, left voice notes explaining how much she'd love to reconnect with everyone, even had mutual friends put in good words on her behalf. The responses were brutal in their politeness. "We're trying to keep this really intimate," became the standard deflection. The most telling rejection came from someone who simply said, "This one's about peace and quiet." In Hollywood speak, that's code for "you're the drama we're avoiding." And hearing that while planning your own birthday celebration, that's a special kind of humiliation that cuts deep.
luckily, she's posted effusive birthday greetings to her son.
But while Meghan was desperately trying to maintain her social standing and salvage some dignity on her 44th birthday, her business ventures were collapsing faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. The timing couldn't have been more perfect or more devastating. As photos from Lake Como trickled across social media, Meghan's professional failures were simultaneously becoming impossible to ignore. Here's the timeline that makes it even more painful. Just days before her birthday, reports surfaced confirming that her Netflix show With Love Meghan had completely tanked. The lifestyle show that was supposed to showcase her domestic goddess skills became one of the platform's biggest disappointments of 2025. Despite initial hype that it got briefly into the top 10, the show crashed to number 383 on Netflix's most watched list, with only 5.3 million views total. To put that in perspective, reruns of shows from 2007 performed better. Critics absolutely destroyed it right around her birthday week. The Guardian called it toe-curlingly unlovable. The Telegraph labeled it an exercise in narcissism. Even viewers were brutal, giving it a 3.2 rating on IMDb and 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. The consensus? Meghan came across as fake, trying too hard to be perfect and completely out of touch with regular people. Reading those reviews while celebrating your birthday with a diminished social circle? Brutal. The American Riviera Orchard trademark disaster had been ongoing, but the final rejections came through right before her birthday celebration. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office had rejected her application multiple times because American Riviera is literally just a nickname for Santa Barbara, where she lives. You can't trademark a geographic location. It's Trademark Law 101, and yet her team somehow missed this basic fact. Then came the desperate rebrand to As Ever in February 2025, which should have been a fresh start, but turned into an even bigger mess. There was already a New York fashion brand using that name since 2015, and then a tiny Spanish village called Porres claimed her logo was almost identical to their centuries-old coat of arms. The mayor publicly called out the similarity, creating international embarrassment just months before her birthday.
More to do with Meghan Markle's recent behavior and how she's been acting very erratic, especially after the Netflix cancellation and firing, and how her contract deal will not be renewed beyond September of this year.
But the final nail in the coffin came in July, just weeks before her 44th birthday, when Netflix officially announced they wouldn't be renewing Meghan and Harry's $100 million deal when it expires in September. 5 years, multiple projects, and all they had to show for it was one moderately successful documentary about their royal drama and a string of failures. So picture this. You're turning 44. Your former friends are living it up in Italy without you. Your business ventures are collapsing publicly. Your Netflix deal is dead. And the only people celebrating with you are your immediate family and a handful of loyal staff members. Meanwhile, Emma Thinn is gliding through Lake Como, representing everything you tried to become but couldn't sustain. When you're hemorrhaging money, losing trademark battles, getting universally panned by critics, and watching your social circle shrink in real time, elite circles take notice. Nobody wants to associate with failure, especially failure this public, this preventable, and this perfectly timed to your birthday celebrations. What's happening behind the scenes in Hollywood is even more telling than the Lake Como snub, because when you trace the pattern of A-list celebrities quietly distancing themselves from Meghan, you realize this isn't about one bad day or misunderstanding. This is a systematic corporate decision disguised as personal choice.
With celebrities left, right and centre. You know, I previously broke the story about how Meghan and Katy Perry were not getting on despite Prince Harry wanting a relationship with Orlando Bloom. You know, we've heard that Prince Harry and Meghan, they've fallen out with the Beckhams.
Let's start with the biggest names. Oprah Winfrey, who literally launched Meghan's post-royal career with that explosive interview in 2021, and she has now gone completely silent. No birthday wishes, no social media interactions, no joint projects. The same woman who called Meghan my daughter girl and defended her publicly is now maintaining professional distance. When Oprah stops returning your calls, that's not friendship fatigue, that's brand protection. Tyler Perry, who provided Meghan and Harry sanctuary in his Beverly Hills mansion during their transition, he has simply faded into the background. The man who stood up as godfather to their daughter Lilibet and offered unconditional support is now notably absent from their inner circle. Sources close to Tyler's camp say he's focused on projects that don't come with media baggage, which translates to Meghan's chaos isn't worth the headache anymore. Even Gayle King, Oprah's best friend and longtime Meghan supporter, has shifted into neutral territory. She still speaks kindly when directly asked about Meghan in interviews, but the enthusiastic championing has been replaced with careful diplomacy. In Hollywood, that kind of measured response from someone who used to be an advocate signals that the tide has turned. The pattern extends beyond personal relationships into business partnerships. Entertainment executives who once courted Meghan for projects are now ghosts. That rumored Disney deal vanished. The Spotify podcast partnership terminated early with reported frustration about work ethic and content quality. The fashion collaborations that seemed inevitable, radio silence. One Hollywood insider, speaking anonymously to avoid industry blowback, put it bluntly, nobody wants to be the next name tied to a Meghan Markle headline. Every project becomes about her. Every partnership becomes about her drama. And frankly, that's exhausting for brands trying to sell products or create entertainment.
So desperate, in fact, that she is now begging for a seat at the toxic table. The toxic table, otherwise known as Whoopi Goldberg's The View.
The fear isn't just about negative press. It's about brand contamination. When you're associated with someone whose every move generates controversy, it affects your other partnerships, your other projects, your reputation with networks and studios. Corporate sponsors get nervous. Investors start asking questions. The math becomes simple. The potential upside doesn't justify the guaranteed complications. What makes this exodus particularly brutal is how quiet it's been. Nobody's making announcements or issuing statements. They're just not calling back. Invitations stop coming. Meetings get rescheduled indefinitely. In an industry built on relationships, that kind of ghosting is social death. And the timing right around Meghan's birthday, when she was already feeling isolated, makes it even more devastating. When you're celebrating another year of life while watching your professional network dissolve in real time, that's not just career failure, that's existential crisis. But perhaps the most damning indictment of Meghan's fall from grace isn't happening in Hollywood boardrooms or Italian villas. It's happening right in her own backyard. Montecito, the exclusive enclave where she and Harry spent $14.7 million on their mansion, has basically treated her like a tourist rather than a treasured neighbor. The local Montecito Journal, which chronicles the social scene of this ultra-elite community, made a shocking statement in their 2025 women's issue. Despite Meghan being arguably their most famous female resident, she was completely excluded from their feature on influential women in the area. Instead, they highlighted local philanthropists, artists, and business owners who've quietly contributed to the community for decades. The message was clear. Fame doesn't automatically earn you respect, and buying a mansion doesn't make you part of the family. Neighbors described her as aloof and curated, always surrounded by security and staff, never showing up to community events or local gatherings. One longtime resident told a local reporter, "She acts like she's visiting rather than living here. There's no warmth, no genuine interest in being a part of what we built." That brutal feedback from people who've embraced everyone from Oprah to Ellen DeGeneres with open arms.
Sources tell Shutter Scoop, the former royal, is in full panic mode after Netflix won't renew her $100 million deal.
The contrast with other celebrity residents is stark. Oprah regularly hosts community fundraisers at her estate. Ellen was known for supporting local businesses and charities before she moved. Even newer arrivals like Ariana Grande have been spotted at farmers markets and local restaurants, building authentic connections. Meghan, despite living there for over 5 years, remains an outsider by choice. Local business owners report similar experiences. While other celebrities shop locally, support neighborhood restaurants, and participate in community initiatives, Meghan's team typically handles everything through intermediaries. One boutique owner shared, "We've had her assistants come in for things, but she's never actually been in the store herself. It feels very transactional." The most telling detail, when Meghan celebrated her 44th birthday at Funk Restaurant, it wasn't even in Montecito. She had to drive to Beverly Hills to find a suitable venue. That speaks volumes about her comfort level in her own community. Meanwhile, Emma Thinn was being celebrated on the shores of Lake Como, surrounded by women who genuinely wanted to spend time with her. This local rejection matters because Montecito isn't just any neighborhood. It's a tight-knit community of influential people who value authenticity over celebrity. When you can't even win over your own neighbors, when people who see you regularly still consider you an outsider, that says something fundamental about how you move through the world. And that reputation, or lack thereof, travels far beyond zip code boundaries. So there you have it. From Lake Como snubs to business failures, from Hollywood exodus to hometown rejection, Meghan's carefully constructed empire is crumbling. While Emma Thinn rises with quiet grace, Meghan's loud resistance has left her isolated on her own birthday. The Queen has fallen, and there's no coming back from this social execution.